What is up, everybody? We are back. I am George Mossey. Say hello to my co-host, Cherona, 90 Day Fiance, The Other Way, Season 4, Episode 3. We waited long enough. It is finally here, and Gabe has hopped on a plane, and he is headed to Colombia, and we spent some time with Isabel and her besties, Samuel and Mateo. Samuel, who actually introduced her to Gabe, and we were talking about some things in the relationship that she was wondering about. And it got a little weird, guys. So she said that there's questions about their intimacy that she doesn't understand. And she's kind of nervous to ask. Like, she feels like that she can ask Gabe a lot of questions, but there's still questions that she doesn't understand, because this is all you have to remember. This is new to Isabel. She did not even know about his status as trans, and now she's in a relationship with him, and she just wonders, how does this all work? And I feel like these are questions and things that she will have to ask Gabe at some point, because she's like, it all works perfectly fine, it looks all normal, but she does have questions. And she's like, so the orgasm, what's going on here? And I get that, and these are questions that they do need to go over and ask, because they're going to get married. This is super important, and I want her to feel comfortable to asking Gabe these questions, because her friends Samuel and Mateo can only help her so much, with this information. And when you're going to be married to someone, that information is important for you to know. You have to physically understand what's going on in your intimate life. So that conversation with her besties turned into, are you going to tell your parents? How does your father, Miguel, how do you think he's going to react? And she said that if her father doesn't react in a positive way, she doesn't really know if she could choose between Gabe and her family. Now, that made me really, really nervous, because I feel like her father, they said, is very stuck in his religious ways and his culture. So, again, I don't want to sound like a broken record. It's none of his business, Gabe. Like, for real, like, he doesn't need to know. You've had your surgery. You are the true identity of who you are. There is no reason to tell anyone what identity you may have been born as. That is so irrelevant to the situation. You are who you are. You are Gabe. You are Gabriel. I want you to be happy. And the idea that her father could have the power to make this relationship not work kind of pisses me off.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, I get Gabe wanting to be fully open, but it's hard when you're going to a country that does not accept stuff like that. And that could just make it so much worse. And we don't want to see that. Like, there's such an amazing couple from what we've seen, like seeing Isabel and her family and her daughter and her friends. Like, everyone's so accepting. So bringing that extra, like, stress with telling her family everything, it could, like she said, it could mess up their relationship. And Gabe just gave up everything to move to this country. So I don't know. Like, I just don't understand. I don't know if it's, I get that Gabe wants to be open. I get it.
Mhm.
But maybe, I don't know. It's such a scary situation.
I know. I'm scared. And Gabe, I just want you to be yourself, and you don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need anyone's approval. And it's funny, because her family loves you already. So you have their approval. So I'm
Exactly.
hoping that that's all you need. So we met Mahmoud last night, and I want to get some first raw impression reactions from you, because we learned from his older brothers that his first experience with a girlfriend or a woman was with Nicole, and he married her. Now, I was thinking back, and I was like, I think my first girlfriend, I was in the fifth grade, and maybe made it 5 days. And we fought like three of those. So I was like, what if I would have married my first girlfriend that I ever interacted with? Like, like that was where it kind of hit me, because I was like, this is explaining a lot, because he doesn't understand that Nicole is an LA girl, and she's an eccentric girl, and she's about her fashion, and she's just, everything about her is an expression of herself. She expresses herself through her hair, through her look, her clothing, and he wants to change her. And I feel like, since he was raised in his religion, he doesn't see it as changing her, because even his brother said, they were like, they see it as, restrictions, but to us, we see it as a way of life. It's a blessing. It's something that you will enjoy. And I was like, I'm not 100% sure Nicole is ever going to see it that way. And we
Mhm.
also saw when she landed in Egypt wearing a full suit and turtleneck, that he told her to close her jacket. And I was like, close it for what? She's literally covered from head to toe. We can't even see her neck. And I feel
I
like this is just too much of a cultural difference. And I feel like Mahmoud explained in the preview when he came on, he said the most important thing in my entire life is religion, then family. And he didn't say Nicole. So I was like, this is a problem, because, and there's nothing wrong with having like a strong religious background and a strong religious stance, but I don't know if this is going to work because even Nicole's parents, her dad was like, we've never even been able to control her or tell her what to do or what to dress or what to say. How can this man that she barely knows, who she's already escaped from before, she had to leave, it was so bad, how is she going to go back and let this man change her? And in her mind, she's like, well, maybe we can talk about it and he'll understand that these differences I'm just not willing to do. And I feel like in that religion, we've watched a lot of men who are Muslim marry American women. It's not really a compromise. It's not really a conversation. It's more of a demand.
I mean, yeah, I mean, she's going to that country and she's marrying someone Muslim. Like you said, it's not up for debate. Like
Right.
when you live there, and she already has converted and she is Muslim. So you can't just be like, "Well, I'm Muslim, but I'm not really going to follow everything." Like you have to. Like when you are fully in something, that's like saying I'm vegan, but like I only eat meat on the weekends. Like that's not how it works.
Exactly.
You have to do it. And in that country, like I don't think she understands, like women have to do these things. You have to wear the hijab, you have to do all of these different things, or else you don't know what could happen to you. I
Yeah.
mean, she's really, I don't know, I feel like she already left once. So going back and expecting something different, I don't know how she's going to expect it to be different. It's not a conversation. Like that is a religion and that is the country and that's where she's going to live. If they came to the United States, yes, I could see that being differently, but they're
Mhm.
not. They're living over there. So she either has to accept the culture and be a part of it, or I don't see it working. I'm sorry.
I don't either. I feel like her going back a second time is a waste of time because her problems that she left there are waiting for her as she
Mhm.
arrives back to Egypt. His opinions haven't changed on how she needs to act and dress. And
Mhm.
it's not something that he's going to just wake up one day and say, you know what, I really tried to change her. She won't change. Let's just move on. No, their religion is a way of life. They wake up, their religion, they eat, sleep, pray 5 times a day. Like this is a huge part of his life. Literally the first thing that he said that mattered in his life was that religion. So there's
Mhm.
no way that that's going to change. And like you said, this isn't going to work out. And it's unfortunate because I feel like Nicole really does love him, but she doesn't realize how serious it was converting to a religion without any research. So I want to talk about my favorite person in the whole world. Her name is Debbie, and she's from Sugar Hill, Georgia, and she's a 67-year-old artist, and she makes and sells jewelry, and she's eccentric, and she beats to her own drum, and I'm just obsessed with everything about her. And I was watching the package on Debbie, and I was like, man, she's like literally the most coolest person in the world. Like, who said age mattered, right? Like, I feel like I would hang out with Debbie. She is so freaking cool. And like we met her son Julian, who happens to be a cop. He's my favorite too. Did you hear how Julian was referring to Osama? He's like, when I heard that my mom was dating a 24-year-old Moroccan male, he was literally describing him like a cop would describe on a call. And I was like, I love that Julian is such a logical person because he's like, 24 years old, Moroccan, male, 67-year-old female. This is a scam. Like he was literally like doing a police investigation. And I love that logic because sometimes you need somebody like that in your life to just tell you, look, I'm going to tell you how this looks. I know what you feel, but I'm going to tell you what this looks like. And Julian was just like, this is what it looks like. But Debbie has informed us that Osama, in the 3 years that they've been talking, has not asked her for money one time. Now, do you believe her? Because we do know, we've heard from people like Caesar in the past who would say that they've never asked for money and it wasn't true. So do you believe it?
I feel like it's kind of a little hard to believe. I think she's amazing, but I don't know. And I mean, it could be her, like you kind of saw in the clip where she's like, well, what if I want to give him money? So it
Exactly.
could be her just offering, which is different than him asking. So
Mhm.
she might not be lying, but I do believe there must be a little bit of money exchange involved.
There has to be. I mean, I don't want to sound like Debbie's not worth it because Debbie's amazing and she
Yeah.
is. But what would attract a 24-year-old to pursue a relationship with a 67-year-old? And she has been to Morocco twice. They've interacted with each other, and she does feel like they have a connection. But he did pursue her based on their art. So
Hmm.
he's an artist and a poet, and they interacted. They wouldn't send each other nudes. They sent each other pictures of each other's art. So I feel like they're already on a deeper level because
Yeah.
people our age, they just send nudes to each other. They're like, no, we're gonna send pictures of our artwork, and he sent her his poetry. And I do feel like there is some sort of connection. But how real is this connection? And we do know that Debbie's been married twice, and the first marriage ended pretty bad. And then the second marriage ended even worse because she found out that he was cheating on her with a woman in another country. So she swore off all men until she met Osama. So I feel like if this doesn't work out, this is going to be heartbreaking for her. And she's dedicated 3 years of her life. She's literally leaving her home, her two children, everything that she's ever had in life to move to Morocco. And I feel like, what if it doesn't work out? I feel so worried. Like, we need to protect Debbie at all costs. I want her to be protected. But I also love the fact that she's like, I'm 67 and I'm trying to have some fun and live my life. And this is who I am. And I love that about her. But I'm just like on Julian's side a little bit because he's like, I need to protect you because I don't know what this man has is going through his head, because typically 24-year-olds don't pursue 67-year-olds.
Yeah, I feel that. But at the same time, like what you're saying, like they have similar interests. She's so young at heart, you can tell. So that could have attracted him to her. They have such similar interests. I love her art, by the way, and all her jewelry. That was so amazing. So that could be something. I hope that he's not trying to hurt her because she's trying to have a good time and live her best life. And I'm really worried just because of what we saw in the previews. I don't know. I just don't want him to hurt her. She seems so cool. Like you said, like I'd love to hang out with her. She seems like a great time.
She does. And I feel like she really does love him. And I love the fact that she went to Morocco and she met him and she was like, you're too young for me. And she tried to break it off. And she's like, this would never work. You're a young man and this would never work. And they still interacted. And she said that it's more than just age, it's connection. And I do want to just say connection is so important when it comes to relationship. I know age is important too, but like having a conversation with someone and talking about something on a deeper level is so important. That's what makes relationships last. So I want this to work for her, but I also know that she said it herself. Like she never wanted to be with someone younger, especially not this young. It just kind of happened that way. And it makes me wonder, did it just happen through fate or did Osama make it happen? Did he find her and then pursue her and then convince her? So we have so many questions and I feel like Officer Julian can probably help. I feel like he could probably do a good investigation and let us know what's going on. I kind of feel like he will. I'm hoping that Officer Julian hops on a plane with his mom and they go and he interacts and interrogates Osama, and just get some information from him because I want to know what's going on. And I know we're going to meet Osama next week and we're going to hear more about his story, but she's going to be moving there in 2 weeks. And I'm excited to see this because I'm happy for her and I'm happy for this relationship. And I just love her. Like, she's amazing. I'm obsessed with her. She's probably my new favorite cast member. Within 1 minute of the package of meeting her, I was like, I'm obsessed with this person. She's freaking amazing. Like, so I'm just worried that things might not work out because I want everybody to fall in love. Like I want to turn 90 Day Fiance into like a dating show that really works. But I'm seeing a lot of red flags. Like even the people who are already married this season, like Danielle and Johan, I don't see how this is going to actually work. Like I don't see, like there's a lot in Nicole and Mahmoud. Like I don't know how these relationships are actually going to pan out. And they're already married. So it's like, I want this to work out, but I also love when things don't work out because that is really fun to watch too, with some popcorn and, something to drink and just watching people battle it out and call each other the worst possible names. Let's go back to Danielle and Muhammad when she threw an entire notebook of information and was like, you're using me, and smacked him with a notebook. That was one of the most iconic scenes. So I don't want that to happen, but if it does, I'm going to watch it.
Amen. I'm right there with you.
All right, guys, that's all the time we have. So that was 90 Day Fiance The Other Way, season 4, episode 3. Next week, we will be back for episode 4. I cannot wait. We've met everyone this season. I think you guys know who I think my favorite is so far. It's Debbie. I love everybody this season. Don't get me wrong. Debbie is just amazing. And I love Gabe and Isabel too. Nicole and Mahmoud are just going to be all the drama. Like, I'm just excited about this season. Bravo to TLC for casting this season. You did good. You did. Catch yourself on the back. All right, guys. I'm George Mossey. This is my co-host, Cherona. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at George Mossey, georgemossey.com, and anywhere you get your podcast. And you need to follow Cherona too. She's on TikTok and Instagram, and her links are right here. So you need to do that right now. We'll talk to you guys all really soon.